Welcome back to Robot My Life. Well, today we're going to be discussing how to use the Hobot 2S effectively to clean your windows. Now, behind me here, my windows are due for a clean. Now, you may not be able to see that with the blinds down, but they were probably cleaned around 6 weeks ago. Now, remember, a robot window cleaner is designed to maintain your windows in a clean state. So the build-up that I have on my windows at the moment is dust from the dirt road, from when it's rained and that. So they haven't got really thick built-up deposits, and that's exactly what I don't want. Because if I've got thick built-up deposits that have been baked on there by the sun, then that's going to be hard to scrub off. And I don't really want that, because that's not the best use of a Hobot 2S. Remember, this is about maintaining your windows in a clean state. If your windows haven't been clean for a couple of years, it's likely that they're probably going to need a really good scrub to be brought into a condition where you can then maintain them on a regular basis with a robot window cleaner. And sometimes a few tricks that you can use as well. So our windows previous to 6 weeks ago hadn't been cleaned for several months, and we had actually then washed them down with dishwashing detergent, scrub them lightly, let that dry off, hose down a bit, and obviously there's soapy marks all over the window. But then that's when we use the Hobot 2S to remove that build-up and then to go through and do a final clean to get them in the state that we're satisfied with. So we're going to walk through today the process, things to bear in mind, because we want you to get the most you can out of the Hobot 2S. All right, now, before we get into using the Hobot 2S, let's actually talk about the process you need to use when cleaning windows. So what you'll see today is that the first pass that I will do is a dry run. So I'll be turning off the sprayer via the app. Why am I using a dry run? Because I really want to, first of all, pick up any dust on the pad. And then I'm going to change the pad later on when I do a wet clean, because I don't want to get streaks on my window. And that's one of the most important things that I always tell customers with the Hobot 2S or any robot window cleaner. It's about frequent pad changes. If you're not changing your pads frequently, then you're going to end up with an average result. And you'll kind of see it, because you'll see that the first few windows look great, and as you move along, when there's some bright light, you might notice some streaking. Well, that's probably because you've mixed dirt with solution on the glass, and that's where you're starting to get streak, or there might be an oil film on the window. And that's really what you want to try and avoid at all costs. So changing these pads on a regular basis is going to give you a far better result, something you'll be satisfied with. Now, this particular robot window cleaner I've had probably for about a year. Now, the tracks, people forget to clean the tracks. Now, on the Hobot 2S, the 298, you need to remember that these pads are being suction forced to the windows, and it's using a vibrating plate and vacuum suction force to clean the windows. And what people forget is that the caterpillar tracks are moving up and down the windows. And what you don't want is that transference of dirt or grime back to clean glass. And that's where you might see some track marks on the window. So you need to clean these tracks, and you need to do it on a regular basis. So how do you clean your tracks? Well, it's quite easy. If we turn the machine upside down and we turn it off and on, you can see now that my tracks are rotating backwards and forwards by themselves. I like to use a baby wipe here, and I just press on the pad. Now, if this is a brand new Hobot 2S that you have, I also advise doing the same thing, because sometimes when the rubber's being manufactured, there can be a small amount of film, oily film on the tracks, which can sometimes make the caterpillar tracks slip on the window. And if the unit is brand new, what I'd probably advise is using a bit of dishwashing detergent to help get rid of any of that oily film that may be present on the caterpillar tracks. Now, the other thing you probably want to do as well when you're cleaning these is, and you can see here, hopefully, look at that. Again, that bit of that dust and grime off my rubber, which I don't want on my glass. Now I'm going to turn that off. Clean your sensor here as well. Now, the other thing to be aware of, so you don't get any sort of faults, is making sure that you place the pad on the 2S correctly. Now you'll notice, and I'll just peel this back for you, You'll notice there's an arrow here. That arrow is telling you here that that hole needs to be over the top, and you should be able to look through and actually see the actual line in the arrow through the hole. And this means it's correctly lined up. You need to do it for all four. The other caution I'll give you is making sure these stitched edges are not too close here to the caterpillar track, so you don't want to accidentally getting sucked in. So just make sure that you line this up correctly, because after all, this is what's going to help maintain that window in a great clean state. Now, often I'm asked, what sort of solution do I use for the window? Why do you have two types of solution? Well, today I'm going to be using the crystal clear solution. And you can see obviously that it's clear sitting within the unit here. What is crystal clear solution? What is the difference between that and the Hobot solution? Well, they're both fantastic solutions, but they both have a slightly different purpose. I live in an area where I do get dust in the windows frequently from a dirt road. The crystal clear solution is a dry glass cleaner. So what it does exceptionally well is help break up the dust and dirt so that the pad can effectively pick up that broken up dirt on the window. Hence why we do sell the crystal clear, because I find it for my area it is better and it's safe to use with electronics, hence why it's one of the two products that you can use in the Hobot 2S. If you have the Hobot window cleaning solution, what you'll notice is if you use that, it's almost like a cleaning polish, that you get like a nice polish on your glass. So it's a really great sort of cleaner and polish for the glass. But my preference for where I live is the crystal clear, because like I said, it's about making sure that I get the maximum sort of cut through that I can through dust in the windows. So now let's walk you through how to use the Hobot 2S, the process you should be using, and show you how effectively it will clean your windows. In a moment, I will show you some of the dust and dirt that's built up on these windows over 6 weeks. If you've never ever filmed dirt on glass, it's really hard to do, and I'll do my best to highlight where the dust and grime is on the windows for your benefit. Like I said, it's difficult, and I'll also show you after we've finished the Hobot 2S, so you can see what a great job the unit has done at cleaning the window. So I'm just getting in here on a bit of an angle, and hopefully you can see just here, there's dirt here, here. There's a big line here. I'm not sure if that's on the inside. That's on the inside, so there, I just wiped some off there, so there's some dirt there. So there's a fair bit of dust on this window all over it, over here as well. So definitely due for a clean, and this is sort of the maintenance state that I was saying before, that you'd be maintaining, say, every 6 weeks to keep your windows in a pristine condition. Now, I chose these windows for a reason, because they're obviously higher, and people always ask, what about windows that are higher? Even for the location where I'm at the moment, I'm using an extension cord so I can reach this window. Now remember, the Hobot stays connected to the power at all times. If it becomes disconnected, that's when the uninterrupted power supply comes in. That will keep the robot window cleaner connected to the window for 20 minutes for safety. Now you also note that I don't have the safety cord on today. I advise that you do, but I've chosen not to, just because of the low-lying areas, and I don't have any children that might be injured by the Hobot if something was to catastrophically fail. So I've placed the robot on the window, and now I turn it on.
Hello, I'm Hobot. Please tie the safety rope before
And here you can see it's suction controlled to the window. That's not going to go anywhere. Hobot will talk to you and instruct you what to do, so it makes it super simple for anyone to be able to utilize this to clean their windows. A quick point that was made by Hobot: don't use it on rainy or humid days. That is not the best time to clean your windows. Today's a great day because it is warm, it's not too humid at all, plus there's no wind. And when it's really windy, you can sometimes get the solution blowing around. So really make sure that you pick a optimal day to clean your windows. So I've just turned off the 2S, so I've taken it off the window, and just have a look at the pad there on the edges. You can see that dirt is starting to build up. So it's done a really great job of removing that initial dust off the window. Now it's time to change the pad, and I'm going to do a wet clean on the window. Then we're going to come back and film and see how well the Hobot has cleaned the window. All right, we've finished our wet clean, and let's see the pad underneath. So as you can see, there's not a heap and dust and dirt like the first pad, which is great because that first pad has really removed 90% of the gunk off the window, and it's that final clean over with the solution to maintain that window in a clean state. So now what I'd like to do is we're going to film that window up close, same angle as before, so you can see how the window is now clean. So it's really hard to see, but this window is really clean. And the way that we've been able to achieve that is, again, maintaining this in a clean state. So there you have it. That is how you use your Hobot 2S correctly. Remember, it's a window maintenance device. Now, the other things to bear in mind, these tanks are consumable items. So after time, the grommets may wear out and you may need to replace these. They do come in a pack of 2 and are always readily available. So any other questions or queries, please reach out to the support team and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions.